on the northern edge of Dartmoor, where the moorland gives way to deep river valleys. The ruins of the Okehampton Castle rise above the West Okement River. Though silent today, these stones have witnessed nearly 1,000 years of English history, layer upon layer of conquest, power and quiet decline. The story of Okehampton Castle begins in the wake of 1066 CE, when William the Conqueror seized the English throne. As he worked to secure control over his new kingdom, one of his loyal Norman knights, Baldwin of Meulles, was granted vast estates in Devon. To assert authority over the region and suppress local uprisings, especially after the siege of Exeter in 1068, Baldwin began construction of a Motte and Meulles castle here in 1070s or 1080s. This was no random location. The motte or mound on which the keep was built was part natural and part man-made. It served both a defensive purpose and a symbolic one, a visual reminder that the Normans now ruled over this land. On top of the motte, a square stone keep was erected. Originally, a two-story structure that marked Baldwin's power and presence. Below the mound, two baileys or courtyards extended out, adapted from the contours of the natural spur. But the site's significance predates the Normans by millennia. Just southwest of the castle lies a prehistoric cemetery from the late Neolithic or early Bronze Age, and to the east, an Iron Age hill fort sits atop the East Hill. During the Roman period, a road is believed to have passed close by, connecting Cornwall to the wider Roman world. Okehampton has always occupied a place of quiet importance in the Devon landscape. In 1173, the castle passed to the Courtenay family, one of the most powerful dynasties in the southwest. By the 13th century CE, Okehampton Castle had transitioned from a fortress to a grand hunting lodge. During the 14th century, Hugh Courtenay II, Earl of Devon, extensively rebuilt much of the structure, transforming it into a residence befitting a noble household. Though the original Norman features were kept to honour the past, new additions brought comfort and elegance. The keep was extended to include fireplaces, windows, and a garderobe. A new hall chapel, kitchens, and luxurious lodging suites replaced earlier buildings. The castle became not just a home, but the administrative heart of the Okehampton estates and a seat of justice. Visitors would have entered through a two-story gatehouse, once fitted with a tall oak door. Square holes in the outer wall, known as putlog holes, reveal where timber scaffolding once stood during the construction. Just inside, a stone-lined pit may have served as a water cistern. A walled passage led further in, towards the inner gatehouse, which once had a drawbridge spanning a square pit. Later analysis shows that this gatehouse was expanded during the 14th century. The heart of the castle life was the Great Hall, a space used both for business and domestic affairs. It was originally divided into sections and heated by an open hearth fire. Though the timber roof has long since vanished, its ornate structure is remembered through the visible recesses still etched into the walls. Traceried windows and fine architectural details made the hall a space of both function and status. Nearby stood the castle kitchen, likely remodeled in the 14th to the 15th century. It was a working complex with rooms for preparation, baking, and cooking. Today, one can still see the remains of the stone hearths, ovens, and an ash pit, remnants of the bustling activity that once fed the nobles and guests. Across the courtyard lay the private accommodations. Bedchambers with traces of fireplaces and windows. A private chapel, dating from the early 14th century, still shows off its decorated Gothic tracery. Once richly painted, some fragments of the wall decorations were visible well into the 20th century. The priest's lodging, a modest two-story structure, sits just beside the chapel. In the 15th century, additional lodgings were built at the west end of the chapel, expanding the residential wing even further. But the castle's fortunes changed dramatically in 1538 when the 10th Earl of Devon was executed for plotting against King Henry VIII. The Courtenay estates were confiscated and Okehampton Castle was abandoned. Without its lords, it fell into disrepair, eventually becoming the ruin we see today. Yet even in ruin, Okehampton Castle commands attention. Managed today by the English heritage, it stands as one of the most picturesque and evocative castles in the southwest. Its weathered stones whisper stories of conquest, nobility, and decline, layered deep into the Devon soil. Okehampton Castle is more than a ruin. It is a monument to the long and winding history of England itself.